The Philippines. Jeepneys, tricycles, street food vendors everywhere. Kids actually playing outside. It was home, even without my parents, who had lived in the States since I was 7. I miss them, but they did it to support me. Over the years, I had gotten used to them not being by my side, only visiting them during the summer. I had found a way to build a great life, even with my parents so far away. My aunt always did her best to make me feel at home, and I liked living with her. I got to see my cousins all the time, and by the time I got to high school, I had a good group of friends. At least the rest of my family still lived in the Philippines. During the summer of my sophomore year, I visited my parents. They told me I'd be moving to the States. It came out of nowhere. I didn't want to move to America. I had 1 year before I'd be coming back and staying for good. 1 year. New York Times bestselling author Mandy Hale once said, "Change can be scary, but you know what's scarier? Allowing fear to stop you from growing, evolving, and progressing." However, we reject change because when fear takes over, we can miss out on the beauty in life. Psychotherapist Julia Samuel explains to the BBC October 8, 2020, that accepting change also makes you better at adapting, even changing intentionally, when you recognize that change is inevitable. The worst is often a precursor to the best, so if we are to thrive after this period of racial and social turmoil, we must embrace what is the basis of all history: change. Leaving Home by Faye Langford. Living in America would mean being able to actually live with my parents. That was something I had always wanted, but I didn't want to leave home. And Philippines was exactly that: home. Starting over in a new place terrified me, but my parents insisted that there were better opportunities, and we'd all finally be together. I couldn't convince them otherwise. But home in the Philippines wasn't perfect. I was living with my aunt, but had to move out because, well, it's a long story, like most family drama. So, how much worse could America be? What if I couldn't make any new friends? It was a whole new environment, a whole new culture. What if I stuck out? It wasn't too long before I was able to move back in with my aunt. She just had a baby and she needed help. Slowly, our relationship started getting better, and eventually it was like nothing had ever happened. I just helped build this relationship back up, yet I had to leave this happiness behind. I was scared, scared to start a new chapter in my life because I knew that I'd have to end my chapter in the Philippines. In the beginning of my last year living in the Philippines, I wasn't embracing every moment. I was thinking to myself, I would be leaving anyways. I tried one more time to convince my parents, but they insisted. Better opportunities, that's all that mattered. It didn't matter that I was scared. It didn't matter that I didn't feel like I even knew them anymore. Better opportunities, that's all that mattered. Then, one day, I don't know why, I started thinking to myself about when my parents left, when I moved in with my aunt, and when I left, and when I moved back in with her. I realized I was really good at moving, no matter how hard it was. At least I always did that. At least I could feel comfortable about that. The other way to think about it was that I had no choice. So my mind, my heart were no longer stuck. They were both now moving. I was good at that. I stopped worrying about the future. I started living in the present, appreciating every single day. The beach helped, the views, sunsets, possibilities. When I was younger, my aunt always wanted a kid, but never had one, so I was it, even though I wasn't. Now, she had a baby girl all her own from the start, and I was happy for her. In the beginning, we were a bit distant, but family drama works that way. The longer that I lived with her throughout that year, the closer we got. We bonded like we did when I was little, and this time along with her baby. I was happy that me and my aunt rebonded and got closer again. We renewed our relationship, yet it still feels like the relationship we had back when I was little. I was worried that if I left the Philippines, he and my aunt would become distant with each other again. On top of that, I also made some great friends throughout that year that made me want to stay even more. I thought to myself, they are part of my chapter in life and that I will meet new people in the future. I thought to myself again that every day is always different. When my aunt, cousin, and best friend dropped me off at the airport, my aunt told me that she'd always be there for me, and so did my cousin and best friend. That made me happy. It reassured me that the relationship with the people I care about won't change. I was crying on the plane for a while, but I got to the airport safely. I saw my dad waiting for me, smiling. Driving home, I felt the difference from how it was from the Philippines. The people, the place. It felt like a huge change. I knew that my parents were with me now, so I felt safe. For a while, I was homesick, and there would be times I'd cry. I wanted to go back, but the longer I stayed, the more I felt comfortable with my parents, with myself. I realized relationships will always work if the people care for each other, like with me and my aunt. It's been 3 years now since I arrived. I built a great relationship with my parents and I met my bestest friends. You will meet new people throughout the chapters in your life. As for me now, home is when you're with the people who care about you, where you feel safe. Family has been and will always be a part of it. I don't regret moving. Thank you.